keyboard. And you have two packages here, a zip package for Windows and a PKG file for Mac. Just click the appropriate one for your particular setup. And I'm going to double click it and open it up. You can see it's an executable, so I just run it and make sure that it's installing to the proper directory, your OBS Studio directory. You just click install, and there you go. You're going to have this installed on your computer. So now we're going to go into OBS, and if you click view and go to dock, you can select multiple output and it'll put it in your browser dock here. And it may actually already be in there when you install it, it may not. So now you know how to put it in there, and of course you can grab it and move it around to any location in OBS that you want. So there we go. Now we have it installed. If we go into settings and we go to stream, you can see that you're going to want to set up whatever your first priority stream is. In my case, it's YouTube. And so I already have that set up, and it's automatically going to go to that stream. Now if I go into output, I can see how my stream is currently set up, and this is going to be the bottom end of what our stream is going to turn out to be. So in other words, anything that you stream to additionally is going to add on to that bit rate. And you're going to want to keep that in mind, because if you have a connection that's not very fast, you're probably struggling to stream to one location. You're just not going to be able to stream to multiple locations. Usually a good rule of thumb is that you want your total bit rate for all the live streams that you're producing. So if we're going to YouTube and Facebook, and we're using a 6500 kilobits per second for YouTube, and we're using a 4000 kilobits per second going out to Facebook. When you add those two together, you want those to add up to less than half of your upload rate for your internet connection. So if it isn't, you're going to want to do extensive testing to make sure that your upload can actually handle it. But a good rule of thumb is that you want your upload rate to be double what the total bit rate is for all the live streams that you're trying to put out. So just keep that in mind as we go along. When we go into video, we can see our base canvas here for our YouTube live stream is 19. You're going to want to keep that in mind, because if you're streaming to something like Facebook, well, its maximum resolution is 720, which means that you're either going to have to change your YouTube resolution to 720, or you're going to stream at two different resolutions, which means your machine is going to have to encode two different streams. And if your machine is not great, or maybe even on the older side, this is not likely going to happen. So if you're going to stream to Facebook and YouTube, the ideal situation would be probably for you to scale down your YouTube live stream to 720 in order to not have to encode two different live streams. So you're just going to want to keep that in mind. And I'll get to that when I show you exactly how this is done. But we have our initial stream set up. Now we can go in here and we can add a new target. And let's say we wanted to live stream to Twitch. We just type in the name of the streaming service we want to use, and we pop over into Twitch. We're going to go into our channel and then settings, and we want to select channel and videos, and then we're going to select stream. We're going to copy out our stream key, and then if we go over here, and I'll leave this in the actual description, a link to this. This is the RMTP servers for Twitch. You're just going to select the one that's closest to your house. I'm going to just grab this right here, copy it out. We're going to paste it into the RTMP server, and we're going to just remove this stream key piece because obviously it's a setup, so we add it into a special location. Now we can select the encoder. Now if you decide to select a different encoder than get from OBS, it's going to encode a completely separate stream. You can put in your custom resolution here and your bit rate and everything else for where you're going to go. But ideally, you want to get this from OBS. You really want to make sure that all of your streams are the same resolution and the same size, especially if you're dealing with a machine that's not great. Let me show you how to set up Facebook here. You just type in the name Facebook. We go over to Facebook. We go to live video. It's on our main page. We're going to go ahead and go to use stream key, and we're going to copy out our server URL and stick that in here, and we're going to get our stream key. I'm going to copy that from right here. And in this case, we know we're streaming to YouTube at 1080 and to Twitch at 1080, but we can't stream to Facebook at 1080. Its max resolution is 720. So we're going to essentially be encoding a whole nother stream to send it out to Facebook. And if your machine can handle it, fantastic. Just keep in mind that we're not just dealing with what your machine can handle, but also what your connection can handle. You can see that the bit rate there is something that you can set. And just keep in mind that each of those bit rates adds on top of the other one. So keep in mind that 50%